What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. What's good? This is your boy Tone DeShields the second. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Better late than never. Better today than yesterday. Your Philadelphia Eagles managed to get a big win against the Las Vegas Raiders. And we're going to talk about this game. We're going to be fair to this team. We're going to put this victory into context. But we're also going to talk about how big of a win this was based off of the nuances and based off of the circumstances the Philadelphia Eagles have been dealing with over the past few weeks. But make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate the love. I really do appreciate the support. You guys are fantastic. You guys are great as always. Make sure you guys stay locked in. Kick your feet up. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you got your snacks. Maybe you got some leftovers from your Sunday fun day. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe you need to, drink one up. Maybe you need to roll one up, whatever it is, man. Maybe you need to stuff one, whatever. You know what I mean? So pack one, So make sure you guys are locked in. Again, I want you guys comfortable. I want you guys with your inhibitions lowered. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get into it. Not going to waste too much time. We're probably going to be here for about an hour, maybe 45 minutes. All depends how this thing goes. But I'm catching y'all vibes. I'm rolling with y'all, and we're going to take this thing as far as we want to take it. So let's get into it. So the Philadelphia Eagles managed to beat the Las Vegas Raiders 31-0. Let that sink in for a second. 31-0. The Philadelphia Eagles didn't just dominate the Las Vegas Raiders. They shut them out. Now, I can't remember the last time the Philadelphia Eagles shut out a team. But regardless, they managed to do that today to stop the bleeding that was coming by way of a 3-game losing streak. The Philadelphia Eagles blew a 21-point lead to the Dallas Cowboys. They allowed over 250 rushing yards to the Chicago Bears. And they flat out couldn't protect the football against the Los Angeles Chargers and blew one in overtime. So these past 3 weeks have been very different for the Philadelphia Eagles. Each game has had its own wonky things happen. Each game has had its own twilight zone that the Philadelphia Eagles have been trying to get out of. Nonetheless, they managed to stop the bleeding by beating the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, before I get into things I liked, we're going to put this in context. The Las Vegas Raiders are currently 2-12. 2-12. Prior to the game, entering the game, they were 2-11. They were tied for the worst record in all of football. The Las Vegas Raiders are arguably the worst team in the NFL. So what we saw today is nothing short of what we should expect or should have expected. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to bully. You're supposed to dominate. You're supposed to violate. You're supposed to take advantage of a bad football team. Now, the past few weeks, the Eagles did not take advantage of teams that they should have taken advantage of. They're better than the Chargers. They blew that game. I think, top to bottom, they're better than the Bears. They blew that game. They're better than the Cowboys. They blew that game. But today, they didn't blow this one. As a matter of fact, everything was working the way it was supposed to. Everything was working the way it's supposed to. The Philadelphia Eagles put up 183 rushing yards. Granted, they had 47 rush attempts. 47 rushing attempts to 18 total passes for the game. Jalen Hurts had 15 attempts, but the game didn't call for him to throw the ball 30-plus times. They leaned on a running game. They won the battle in the trenches. They averaged just under 4 yards a carry. So they weren't the most efficient running the ball, but they had their moments. Saquon Barkley, longest run of the day, 17 yards. Ting Bigsby, longest run of the day, 13 yards. Jalen Hurts, longest run of the day, 13 yards. I think what stood out in this game was how involved Jalen Hurts was in the running game. You saw Jalen Hurts doing quick draws. You saw him pulling the ball with the RPO. You saw them getting back to what makes Jalen Hurts. You see, I don't need Jalen Hurts to throw the ball 40-plus times for me to know he's good. I don't need that. Again, I don't need to see Jalen Hurts throw the ball 40-plus times just to know he's good. Jalen Hurts is an efficient football player. Jalen Hurts is a football player that bounces off his run game. He's a football player that adds to the run game, and he's a football player that can throw the ball down the field, has one of the best deep balls in the league, and when given time and opportunity, he's as accurate as they come. I don't care what your opinion says. He's one of the more accurate quarterbacks, has been one of the more accurate quarterbacks over the past 3 seasons. I don't really care what your opinion, actually, since he's been a starter. Maybe since 2022, Jalen Hurts has been one of the more accurate quarterbacks in football. That's not an opinion. That's just what the numbers say, since everyone loves numbers. So again, this Eagles team leaned on their run game. They leaned on their RPO game. They leaned on the play action, right? And they took what the Raiders gave them. They dominated the line of scrimmage, in particular on the defensive side of the ball. In particular on the defensive side. I mean, this Eagles team left the game with 4 total sacks. Kenny Pickett went 15 for 25, threw for 64 passing yards. He averaged less than 3 yards an attempt, and he threw an interception. Kenny Pickett ended the game with a 47.9 passer rating. Kenny Pickett was awful today. Also, the Philadelphia Eagles forced the issue. They couldn't run the ball either. The Philadelphia Eagles held the Vegas Raiders to 75 yards of total offense. Meanwhile, the Eagles put up 387 total yards of offense. The Philadelphia Eagles were 10 for 13 on third down, which was damn near the story of the game. You see, the Eagles historically have been good on third down. This year, they have not been good on third down. And it shows up. The Eagles had 27 first downs compared to the Raiders' 7 first downs. Eagles ran 66 total plays compared to the Raiders' 42 total plays. Both teams had 8 drives. Think about that. Eagles had over 200 passing yards as a team. Raiders only had 29 adjusted passing yards. Adjusted. Philadelphia Eagles, 183 rushing yards total. Raiders, 46. Eagles, only 3 penalties in this game. That's a big deal. The Philadelphia Eagles have been one of the most penalized teams in football this year. They have been penalized at an astronomical rate, a rate that we're not used to. So when you put all those things in perspective, and they dominated time of possession, 39 minutes and 25 seconds for the Eagles, 20 minutes and 35 seconds for the Raiders. So I got to give credit where credit is due to the Philadelphia Eagles. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. Now, sometimes, and I come up in this household. I don't know if you guys feel the same. I don't know what kind of household y'all came up in. But you don't get but so much credit for doing what you're supposed to be doing. You know, I don't get credit for being a good student, right? You know, of course your parents reward you, but like that's what I'm supposed to do. You don't get extra credit for cleaning your room. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't get extra credit for being a good big brother. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't get extra credit for washing the dishes. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't get extra credit for cutting the grass. That's what you're supposed to do, son. But you will get credit. And I will continue to take care of you, and I will continue to reward you because you are a good son to me. Where there's many sons who are not good sons to their parents. So I will give you credit. I will reward you accordingly. But extra credit, I don't think so. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're taking care of business. Be concerned when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So again, I give the Eagles credit, but they're not getting extra credit for this win. Not for me. Maybe some of you guys may call me a Debbie Downer. They get credit. They did what they were supposed to do. I said I don't care about style points. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. I lied. I take that back. I was talking to Marcus earlier. Shout out to my man Marcus Thomas. He said, I don't care about style points, just get the dub. And I hope I'm quoting him correctly. He said, I don't care about style points, get the dub. I said, Marcus, I don't know about you, but I care about style points today. Get the win, of course, but I care about style points today. You better whoop they ass. I said that. Y'all saw the stream earlier. Make sure you guys lock in on the Bald Eagles podcast featuring Marcus Thomas and myself. Go subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. He does fantastic work. Former Eagles running back, played in the World League, the Canadian Football League, the NFL. Marcus is well-traveled. He knows his game. Is the all-time leading rusher for Eastern Kentucky University. He knows this game. But I told him, style points, I need that today. I need you to kick they ass. I need you to violate them. I need you to castrate them. I need you to remind them that, hey, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. So they get credit. Hey, come here, boy. Sorry about that, y'all. My dog gets a little excited when I get excited. But they did what they were supposed to do. They get credit in that regard. They get credit in that regard. For sure. Like, and I just think it's so important with everything going on to have a game like this, a game where everything just goes right for you. It's so good for your psyche. It's so good for your mentals to just have a game, have a win where everything goes according to plan. Everything goes right. It's a big deal in that regard. When you think about it in the context of what they've gone through, they needed this win, and I'm going to put the proper weight on this win. But I'm not going to just say they're back. I'm not going that far yet. I'm not ready to say, oh, the Eagles are back to business. I'm not quite there yet. Beat the Bills. Now, granted, I think the Bills lost today, did they not? Make sure I got that right. I think the Bills lost today. Let's see. Oh, the Bills came back. Wow. Man, Josh, I don't see. See? You got the Bills coming up in a couple weeks. They came back on the Patriots. Big second half for the Bills. Big second half. 28 points in the second half. They were down 24-7 going into halftime. And they just went crazy. Josh Allen is like that. That was a big win. Big win for the Bills. The division is very much in hand. are very much within reach. So you got the Bills in a couple weeks. You got Washington next week. And it's just going to be so important for you to carry this momentum over. You're going up against another bad team. It's time for you guys to pad y'all stats. It's time for you guys to pad your stats. It's time for y'all to continue to dominate the teams you're supposed to dominate. Because frankly, the past 3 seasons, the past 3 weeks, you blew those games. You flat out blew those games. But today, I liked what I saw. They looked like they had a plan. They looked like they stuck to the plan. They kept their running game involved no matter what was going on. They won at the line of scrimmage. That's what's important. They won at the line of scrimmage. And again, they had over 180 rushing yards, but they did run the ball 47 times. And they averaged less than 4 yards a carry. But that's okay. You want to know why? Having a strong running game isn't just about having a fantastic average. Sometimes it's about just keeping pace, staying on the positive side of things, right? Getting the key runs when you need the big runs. Because sometimes you're going to have moments where it's 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. Then you get that 7-yarder. Then you get that 6-yarder. Then you pop it for 10. Then you pop it for 15. You may go 17. Whatever it may be, you got to take it when they give it to you. But the biggest difference in this game, to me, when it comes to the offense, was how involved Jalen Hurts was in the running game. It keeps the opposing defenses off balance. That's a big deal. When you take away that extra sauce that Jalen Hurts provides in the run game, and you just leave it up to just Saquon or any running back to just run normally, the numbers game isn't your advantage anymore. Having Jalen Hurts in the running game is that +1 factor. That +1 factor is really, really important to the overall running game. It helped last year. It helped even in 2022 when Miles Sanders had that career year. That having Jalen Hurts as that +1 in the run game, it means everything. So they got to get back to that. They got to stop being scared. And I don't think Jalen Hurts is scared. I just think that they were intentional about it. And I think they need to continue to be intentional about it. You're going up against another bad team next week in the Washington Commanders. They are awful. And guess what? Jaden Daniels may not play. He re-aggravated that elbow that he's been on IR. Jaden Daniels has missed what? How long? He's been out for a while. Then he came back, hurt the elbow again. Why would they throw him out there? I don't see Jaden Daniels playing. Your season is done. Jaden Daniels is your future. He's your future. Your season is cooked. You have 3 wins. You're out of the playoffs. Shut Jaden Daniels down. Shut him down. And tell him to get his ass healthy. He is your future. Don't do what you did to RG3. There's nothing to play for if you're Washington. Nothing, except for it's a divisional game. But Jaden Daniels, that's your future. As of right now, you guys suck. You will be fools to put Jaden Daniels out there. And you put him out there prematurely last time. They'll be fools to make that mistake again. Again, just going back to some of the stats for the Eagles in this Raiders game, Eagles dominated the Raiders 31-0. They put up 7 points in the first quarter, 10 points in the second, and they put up 7 points in the third and 7 points in the fourth. They were just methodical, efficient, effective, taking what they gave them, feeding the tight end, getting Jalen Hurts and Saquon and Tank Bigsby in that RPO game, right? Smitty pushed the ball down the field. Smitty had a big catch for 44 yards, big catch. I think that was the longest throw of the day for Jalen Hurts, or the longest completion for Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert had a 32-yard completion. A.J. Brown had a 27-yard touchdown. Listen, they still maintain the running game while still having their explosives. And if the Eagles can build off of this, this is when we're cooking. because everything is going to start to fall into shape. You still got time to get ready for the playoffs. Because at the end of the day, when the playoffs start, what you did in the regular season, that record means nothing. Now you got to show up that day. You got to show up that day. And it's all about getting hot at the right time. Can this offense get hot at the right time? I trust this defense to show up against anybody. Speaking of the defense, Nakobe Dean had a hell of a game. Nakobe Dean, 8 total tackles, 5 solo tackles, 2 TFLs. Cooper DeJean had a solid game, 4 total tackles. Zack, Cooper DeJean had a play, though, where he got called for 2 penalties. Holding and defensive holding and unsportsmanlike conduct or something like that. So, got to be a little sharper, Cooper. No pun intended. Zack Baun, great game. 4 total tackles, had an interception on the day, remarkable. Jordan Davis had a really, really good game in the run game. Adoree Jackson had a good game as well. Reed Blankenship was solid. Byron Young had a good game. Brandon Graham, OG, triple OG. Brandon Graham left the game with 2 sacks, a TFL. And they said Brandon Graham was too old. Now, look, I know that Raiders offensive line ain't like that, but BG is like 38. How old is BG? Seriously. Let me find this out. Hold on. Brandon Graham. Oh, my God. No way. Brandon Graham is 37 years old. 37. 37 years old. My man had got 2 sacks. This man is almost 40. He's almost 40. And he got 2 sacks on the day. You got to get credit where credit is due. You got to give credit where credit is due. He came out and balled his ass off. I love what BG showed. Also, you got to give credit to Moral Jomo, had a strong game, had a sack. Nolan Smith got a sack. Trotter Jr. was really good on special teams. Let's see, who else? Jalen Phillips had 2 pass deflections on the day and 2 quarterback hits. He was wreaking havoc. Quinyon Mitchell had a pass deflection. He was solid. Zack Baun had the INT. Jake Elliott made all his kicks. Again, this was a remarkable day for the Eagles defense. This was a very strong day for the Eagles offense. You had to take care of business. You could not, I repeat, there was no way you could allow yourself to make this a game, Philadelphia. You could not allow the Las Vegas Raiders to come in Philadelphia and make that game interesting. That would have been unacceptable. That would have been unacceptable. I really liked what I saw with the shovel passes. The shovel passes to Dallas Goedert was great. Hey, Dallas Goedert, when Jalen Hurts throws you a layup, catch it. Okay? When Jalen Hurts puts the ball in your hand and you're by yourself in the end zone, it don't get no easier than that. Catch the damn ball. Okay? He should have had 3 touchdowns. He should have had 3. My man Jalen Hurts should have had 4 touchdown passes. But Dallas Goedert got cute and dropped the easy ball. Nonetheless, you still dominated this team from beginning to end. The Raiders didn't have a chance. And the Philadelphia Eagles made sure that was clear. It made sure that was evident. They didn't have a chance. I think the closest they got was like at the 35-yard line. Then Kenny Pickett threw an interception. I mean, we knew Kenny Pickett wasn't great. He did some nice things for us. in some moments. He did some nice things for the Eagles in some moments, but Kenny Pickett's not a good quarterback. Kenny Pickett isn't stellar by any stretch of the imagination. Now, if you would have played Geno Smith, maybe it would have been a little different. Maybe. Who knows? But the Raiders have been bad with Geno. They've been bad without Geno. Doesn't make much of a difference. Overall, you give credit where credit is due to the Philadelphia Eagles for them taking care of business. So I'm really happy. I'm happy about that. I'm happy I was able to watch guilt-free football. I was able to watch this game and actually make a quick run. I ran a couple errands today. I was listening to the game on the radio, but I was able to run a couple errands today while the game was on. Ain't that something? Ain't that a trip? Ain't that a trip? I was able to run a couple errands. And not even sweat. That's such a beautiful feeling. That was such a beautiful feeling. It really made me feel good. I was able to actually talk on the phone while the game was on. I was able to talk on the phone and relax. I was able to do laundry and cook dinner for the week. Think about how much you can get done when the Philadelphia Eagles win football games in deciding fashion. They need to put that shit in pill form. Do you have any idea how productive a motherfucker would be if they were able to watch Eagles football and they're blowing teams out left and right? Can you imagine if they put that shit in pill form? Can you imagine what that would do? That's like the limitless pill. The Eagles dominating teams is like the limitless pill. When they're doing it, when it's in your system, you can do anything. They can do anything. Ain't that some shit? Oh my God. Shout out to the birds, man. Shout out to the birds. I appreciate them for giving me an easy Sunday because I got a busy week this week for work. Busy week. But regardless, it got done. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to sit here with y'all and share and bask in this with you guys. I'm glad I was able to bask in this with y'all. Again, I didn't miss the whole game. I had to run a couple errands, but I was listening to the game on the radio. Shout out to Merrill Reese. Shout out to Mike Quick for doing a phenomenal job illustrating the game with their voices. The Merrill Reese crew and Mike Quick, they do a phenomenal job calling those games. Merrill Reese is descriptive. Mike Quick is right there filling in the gaps. Yeah. So the Eagles improved to what? 9-5 now. 9-5. You got the Commanders. You got the Commanders this week, this upcoming week, and you have an opportunity here to go 10-5. If everything goes the way we wanted to, the Eagles can end the season with a 12-5 record. Not bad coming off of a Super Bowl. Not bad when you have been kind of dealing with some struggles throughout the season. Not bad. If you can end the season with a 12-5 record and you haven't even played your best ball and you're coming off of a Super Bowl win and you played maybe the most difficult schedule in football, maybe top 5 most difficult schedule in football, and you didn't have a single back-to-back home game whatsoever, you've been living on the road all season long. I think that's not too shabby. Now, obviously, we expected a different outcome the past 3 weeks, but you still got to put things in perspective. You still got to put things in its proper perspective. Your defense has picked up where they left off. They were phenomenal this year. I would argue the Eagles' pass rush is better this year than it was last year, right? The linebacker core is playing just as well, if not better. You did take a hit at safety, losing CJ, but and you did take a hit at CB2. That's been a little bit of a struggle. But I think Adoree Jackson has stabilized the position at this point in the season. He stabilized it a bit. He's been playing pretty well the past couple weeks. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean do what they do, obviously. You've also battled injuries on your offensive line. Nolan Johnson, Cam Jurgens in and out of the lineup. Landon Dickerson in and out of the lineup. New starter and Tyler Steen. Jordan Mailata has been up and down, in my opinion, all year long. So you've been trying to overcome inconsistent offensive line play, which in turn affects your running game. You've been trying to overcome piss-poor play calling. There's a few things that you got to put a feather in the cap for the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to how this season has transpired, and you think about how last season ended. If you can end the season 12-5, going through what you went through, and you're coming off of a Super Bowl win, that's not a bad season to me. And no Jalen Carter. Thank you, S. Blunt. And you lost Makuba for the year with a fractured ankle or some shit like that. When you think about everything this team has been through, and if they end the season with a 12-5 record, coming off of a Super Bowl win, and at worst, you're the third seed in the NFC, at worst, and maybe, just maybe, you could sneak into that number 2 seed spot. Because remember, last year, the Eagles were the number 2 seed in the NFC. Let's not forget, the Eagles didn't get the number 1 seed last year, and they made it to the Super Bowl. So this team is battle-tested. This team is tried and true. This Eagles team is going to be guaranteed a home game, at the very least in the first round of the playoffs. But if the Rams lose today, or who else? Who else plays today? If Green Bay loses to Denver, then this gets interesting. Then the number 1 seed becomes a little bit more in reach. It can creep into your hands a bit. But I don't want to put myself in a mindset where I'm waiting for someone to lose. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But as of right now, at worst, if the Eagles continue to keep pace, at worst, they will be the 3rd seed. And if the Rams fold today, if Green Bay folds today, the number 1 seed is a little closer within reach. But I don't know if I want this team to have the number 1 seed. I said this to y'all last year. Remember last year I told y'all that number 1 seed is overrated. I said that. I said the number 1 seed is a little overrated. Right now, the Bears are 10-4. Eagles are 9-5. It's all within reach is my point. The point is it's in reach. It's in reach. If Rams and Packers lose today, it's within reach. The number 1 seed is going to end up with either Los Angeles, Green Bay, Philly, Seattle, or Chicago. But guess what? San Fran is in the mix too. San Fran is playing against the Titans. They're already at 14-3. Detroit and LA, they're tied right now. Green Bay is up on Denver, 3 points. So this all remains to be seen. This all remains to be seen. The Cowboys play tonight. Can the Minnesota Vikings catch the Cowboys lacking? I think that's possible. So look, they did what they were supposed to do today. They did what they were supposed to do today. Hey, think about it like this. At least we know the Eagles are better than the Raiders. At least we know that much, right? At least we know the world champions are better than the Raiders. Let me get to some of y'all commentary, man. I think we got some super chats here. All right, let's see. Malik Carter, he says, Tone, tell two halves, great game, go Birds. Well, no, they did a hell of a job, man. They dominated both halves of the game. They dominated both halves of the game, man. Fannie Woods with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Miss Fannie. I appreciate you. She says the media is going to say Hurts put up these numbers against a bad team. Not that he spread the ball around and limited his passes. A game we won when we're not focused on one particular person. Hey, listen, I don't care what they say, Fannie. I don't care what they say. They got the dub. They dominated. Everybody played well. I don't care what they say. Frankly, I don't. Thank you for the $10, Miss Fannie. I really do appreciate you. All right, we got another super chat here by my man, Green Wingman, always dropping the dubskis. Green Wingman says, so I ended up locking myself out of my car while trying to clean it off after a blizzard. And I broke my driver's door handle in the process, which has nothing to do with the Eagles beating the Raiders. Go Birds. Oh, my God. What a fucking Sunday, Greenie. Can you imagine if they would have lost? Can you imagine if they would have lost today? You locked yourself out of your car in a blizzard and broke your driver's door handle. Can you imagine if they lost today? Thank God. Thank God they won. Because Greenie probably would have lost his shit. Probably would have lost his shit, man. Damn. Hopefully you got that sorted out, man. Hopefully you got AAA or whoever. All right. Now, here's the thing, right? The Vikings are already eliminated from the playoffs. If the Vikings beat the Cowboys, they could probably eliminate the Cowboys from the playoffs. Entirely possible. But mathematically, the Cowboys are still in it. Mathematically. But it's tight. It's a tight squeeze. I'm just really happy that the Eagles defense is continuing to do what they do. They've been playing well, honestly, the past several weeks. Yeah, they gave up over 200 rushing yards to the Bears, but that game was well within reach. Sometimes your defense is going to give some things up. The question is, how many opportunities did they give you to win that game, offense? That's what it comes down to. How many opportunities did your defense award you? How many opportunities did your defense provide you? Because it's going to be games where, hey, maybe I give up 300 passing yards. Maybe you give up 200 rushing yards. But what's the scorecard? All right, they gave up 200 rushing yards, but okay, you're only down 17-13 offense. The defense got a big stop. Can you drive down the field and get the points? You feel what I'm saying? Like, I look back at that Bears game, and I say, damn, Eagles lost 24-15. They could have won that game. The Bears didn't do anything. I mean, their passing game was very limited. It was all about their running game. But regardless, that game was within reach. You blew a 21-point lead to the Cowboys. Can't do that. You still managed to beat the Packers and the Lions. Big wins against big teams in conference. So, although we have a lot to criticize this team for, I think the Eagles have still shown us some pretty remarkable things, all things considered. This team has not played their best football. They're 9-5 on the season. They're going to make the playoffs. That's a guarantee. They have a defense that could beat anybody and roll with anybody. They have an offense talented enough to run with anybody. They just got to get out of their own way. They got to get out of their own way. Can they win out? You got 3 games left. Washington, Buffalo, Washington. You got a back-to-back road trip. You got to go to Maryland or Virginia, wherever the hell the Commanders play. I don't know, the Schuylkill River, wherever they play. You got to go there. Then you got to go to Buffalo after Christmas. We'll see how this thing turns out. But you got the dub. You got the dub. I think the game plan when it came to Jalen Hurts and his offense was really, really strong. Your quarterback is coming off of probably his worst passing performance of the season. No, it is his worst passing performance of the season. Maybe his worst passing performance of his career. He's coming off one of his worst games ever. You want to rebuild that confidence. And you want to get him efficient again. It's almost like basketball, right? Sometimes you just got to see the ball go in the hoop. You may start the game 3 for 10, 2 for 12. Your shots is really not falling. Sometimes you just got to see the ball go in. Sometimes you just got to see the ball go in the hoop. And Buffalo does not come to Philly, Dank. We got to go to Buffalo. Like I said, sometimes you just got to see the ball go in the hoop. And that's what this game was. Let's get right. Let's get back to playing efficient football. Let's take what they give us. Let's set up our explosives. Right? Let's dominate the line of scrimmage. You feel me? Sometimes you just got to see the ball go in the hoop. And that's what this game was for Jalen Hurts in particular. I've never seen Jalen Hurts look that bad passing the ball. Never. From a turnover perspective. Never seen that before. So he needed this game. Peter Riley with the $1.99 donation. Thank you, Peter Riley. I appreciate you. He says, keep up the good work. Thank you, my brother. I really do appreciate you. So again, I say, if the Eagles find a way to end the season 12-5, going through what they went through this year, new offensive coordinator, offensive line has been inconsistent. And you're coming off of a Super Bowl win, and you can lock down a 2nd or 3rd seed, maybe the number 1 seed, depending if a couple teams lose some crucial games. Not bad for a team coming off of a Super Bowl where they say there's always a Super Bowl hangover. And let's not pretend there has been some kind of hangover from last year. There has been. But if you can overcome it, because last year the Eagles went, 14-3? Make sure I got this right. In 2024, the Eagles ended the season 14-3. 14-3. You find a way to end the season 12-5, all things considered, I'm not mad at that. Again, last year they was the number 2 seed, and they won 14 games. It was a competitive game. Last season was really competitive. Last season was ultra competitive. If I'm looking at the playoff standings from last year, Detroit went 15-2. Eagles went 14-3. Buccaneers 10-7. Rams 10-7. Minnesota 14-3. Washington 12-5. Green Bay 11-6. Even Seattle went 10-7 and didn't make the playoffs. Now, I would say this season, the margins are a little tighter. Last year, the Eagles and the Lions and the Vikings were the clear-cut top 3 teams in football from a record standpoint. 15 wins for Detroit, 14 wins for Philly, 14 wins for the Vikings. The Rams and Buccaneers had 10 wins apiece. Right? Green Bay had 11 wins. But I say again, Philly, Minnesota, and Detroit were the class of the conference now. When you look at it this year, Los Angeles, 10 wins. Green Bay, 9 wins. Philadelphia, 9 wins. Seattle, 10 wins. Chicago, 10 wins. San Fran, 9 wins. Right? We'll see how it turns out today for them. Detroit, 8 wins. The margins are tighter this year, which means teams got better. Carolina got 7 wins this year. They were awful. They were awful last season. Absolutely horrendous. Some teams got better, some teams got worse. But nonetheless, if you end the season with the 2nd seed, that's exactly where you were last year. That's exactly where you ended up last year. And Mimi says, Tone, if we ended the season 11-6, what seed will we most likely be? We'd be the 3rd. Because right now, the Carolina Panthers, they're making the playoffs. It's a tight race between Tampa Bay and Carolina. Tampa Bay and Carolina are not going to catch the Eagles from a record standpoint. So whoever wins the NFC South is locked into that 4th seed. The Eagles, all they got to do is just keep doing what they're doing. And at worst, they're the 3rd seed. At best, they sneak into the number 1 seed. At best. The number 1 seed is still a challenge, though. Let's not get it twisted. The number 1 seed is still a couple games away. But if somehow, some way, the Rams drop 2 of their last 3, Green Bay drops 2 of their last 3, who knows? Who knows? Just as we stand today, the Eagles, at worst, will be the 3rd seed. And at best, they could be the number 1 seed. And if they end up in the 2nd spot with a 12-5 record, and they was in the 2nd spot last year with the 14-3 record, I mean, your seeding is your seeding. It's just that simple. Yo, Malik, man, you funny as hell. He says, so everybody, what Tone is saying is, go Birds. You're right. Go fucking Birds the hard way, man. For sure. For sure. So, yeah, at worst, you guys, your Eagles are going to be the 3rd seed. At worst. And they're guaranteed a home game. And sometimes the way that shit falls, they may get a 2nd home game. But again, I say, they gotta take care of business. They gotta take care of business. And Darth Panda, to your point, remember I don't know if y'all remember this from last year, but remember, I was campaigning. Yo, that number 1 seed is overrated this year. That number 1 seed is overrated. I kept saying that. And this year, I don't want the number 1 seed, if I'm being honest. I don't want these motherfuckers taking no weeks off. I want these guys to keep momentum. I don't want them getting too comfortable. I don't want them thinking that they're actually a number 1 seed. Because they haven't been consistently explosive like that to the point where they can turn it on. This team needs momentum. This team needs to continue to build off of what they do offensively week to week. They need more and more opportunities. I don't want the Eagles to number one seed, frankly. I'm totally cool with the second seed. I am totally cool with the second seed. If the playoffs started today, the Rams would get the number one seed. Green Bay the 2 seed, Eagles 3, Panthers 4, Seattle 5, Chicago 6, San Fran 7. That means the Rams would get the bye. Green Bay would face the 49ers in the first round. The Eagles would face the Bears again. I think we beat them the second time. They did what they did, but I think the Eagles beat them the second time. And the Panthers will play the Seahawks. Now, let's say the Seahawks dominate the Panthers, right? And let's say Green Bay beat San Fran. And let's say the Eagles beat Chicago. Green Bay would have to play Seattle. I'm sorry. The Rams would end up playing Seattle. And Green Bay, make sure I got my math right here. Green Bay beat San Fran, boom. Eagles beat Bears, boom. Seahawks beat Panthers, boom. So Seattle, Philadelphia, Green Bay, Rams. Eagles will play Green Bay. Rams will play Seahawks. I like my chances against Green Bay. I'm going to be honest with you. That third seed don't look too bad. Remember, we beat Green Bay and Lambeau already. But here's the thing, right? If the Eagles get the number 2 seed and they end up playing San Fran in the first round, I like those odds. And if Green Bay plays Chicago and they beat them, I like those odds. And Seattle beats Carolina. That means Rams play Seattle, Eagles play Green Bay in Philadelphia. So I'm going to be honest with you. That second or third seed is looking very nice. I'm cool not getting the number 1 seed. But it's the playoffs. Anything can happen. What happens if Carolina shocks Seattle? What happens if Chicago shocks Green Bay? Or shocks anybody, right? San Fran beats Green Bay. Like, so much can happen in the playoffs. What happens if the Rams lose in the divisional round? Anything can happen. But I'm of the mindset, I think the Eagles would fare better in that second or third spot. I liked how things went last year. They were able to stack those wins, work out the kinks to the games, and they had a home stretch throughout the duration of the playoffs because of the way things fell. Things can fall that way again with that number 2 seed. They really can. They can even fall that way with the number 3 seed. Because San Fran can beat Green Bay. Let's throw another scenario out there, right? Let's say everything stays as it is, like I said. The Rams would get the bye. That means Green Bay would play San Fran in the first round. Let's say San Fran beats Green Bay. Let's say the Eagles beat Chicago. And let's say Seattle still beats the Panthers. That means the Rams would play San Fran. The Eagles would play Seattle. So, quite frankly, you play Seattle, but you get the home game. Right? So anything can happen. Let's take it a step further. Let's really go crazy with this. Let's say Green Bay Let's say Green Bay plays San Fran and they lose. Let's say the Eagles play Chicago and they win. And let's say Carolina beats Seattle. That means the Rams would play San Fran. The Eagles would play Carolina. I like that. I like those odds. And guess what? San Fran, they can beat Los Angeles. They can. So they have options here. That second and third seed is not as bad as people think. But regardless, these Philadelphia Eagles got to take care of business. They got to take care of business. They got to win out. Like I said, at worst, they'll be the third seed because Carolina or Tampa Bay, they're not going to catch the Eagles from a record perspective. The Eagles have two games out of 3 left that they should dominate, frankly. That Bills game is going to be interesting. That Bills team can put up points, and Josh Allen is just a remarkable talent. So we'll see how things go. But at worst, your Philadelphia Eagles are going to be the number 3 seed because whoever wins the NFC South is locked into that 4th spot. That NFC South they're locked into that 4th spot. The only thing that can really change is spots 1 through 3. Rams can lay an egg. Green Bay can lay an egg. The Eagles can gain some ground a bit, but they would need the Rams and Green Bay to really kind of collapse, or let me not say collapse, but they would need them to drop a couple games. And guess what? The Eagles own the tiebreaker over Los Angeles, and they own the tiebreaker over Green Bay. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, the Rams end the season 12-5, Green Bay ends the season 12-5, and the Philadelphia Eagles end the season 12-5. Who gets the number 1 seed, y'all? I'll wait. Let's say Rams end the season 12-5, Green Bay Eagles, the Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles, they end the season 12-5. Who gets the number 1 seed, y'all? Talk to me. Don't go radio silent. Talk to me. You guessed it. Your Philadelphia Eagles. They get that number 1 seed. But again, I said, I don't know if I want it. Would it help to get guys healthy, like Lane Johnson or whatever? I'm sure it would help. Jalen Carter, he gets another week of rest. Sure. But I don't know if I want this Eagles team coming off of a bye going to the playoffs. I don't know if I want that. Honestly. I don't know if I want it. And they really might not get it. Because I'm looking at the Rams schedule now. They're playing the Lions right now. They got Seattle, Falcons, and the Cardinals. The Falcons are playing very tough. Seattle, that's a tough team as well. We'll see how that goes. And the Lions right now are up on the Rams, 17-14. That's a tough game. Tennessee, they're giving San Fran a run for their money. Denver and Green Bay, they're in a dogfight right now. The Colts are beating Seattle right now. Can you imagine a Sunday where Seattle loses, Green Bay loses, San Fran loses, and the Rams lose? I don't know. That's tough, and I don't think that's going to happen. But there's a path to the number 1 seed. There is a path, but one too many things have to happen. It's a very narrow path. I think the Eagles would fare much better in that 2nd and 3rd seed. That's what I think. All right. We're going to put it into the stream, you guys. Your Philadelphia Eagles, again, the Philadelphia Eagles take care of business at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. They dominated the Raiders 31-0. Jalen Hurts had a very efficient game. Jalen Hurts threw for 175 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, no turnovers, had a 154.9 passer rating. Going 12 for 15, Jalen Hurts completed 80% of his passes. That boosts the completion percentage. He got his touchdown numbers up as well, no turnovers. Saquon Barkley, 22 carries, 78 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. Not bad. He kept the Eagles on schedule. Tank Bigsby, 17 carries, 57 yards. Jalen Hurts, 7 carries, 39 yards. Averaged almost 6 yards an attempt. That was a big deal for the Eagles offense, a very big deal. Dallas Goedert, 7 targets, 6 catches, 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Longest catch of the day, 32 yards. Devontae Smith, 2 targets, 2 catches, 50 yards total with the 44-yard longest catch of the day. A.J. Brown with 2 targets, 2 catches, a touchdown reception, a 27-yard touchdown reception at that. End of the day with 41 receiving yards. Even Darius Cooper got in on the action. 2 targets, 2 catches, 29 yards. Longest catch of the day, 16 yards. On defense, Nakobe Dean, 8 total tackles, 5 solo, 2 TFLs. Cooper DeJean, 4 solo tackles. Zack Baun, 4 tackles, an interception. Jordan Davis played well. Adoree Jackson played well. Byron Young, Brandon Graham, Moro Jomo was phenomenal. Brandon Graham and Moro Jomo combined for 3 sacks. BG had 2, Moro had 1. Jalen Phillips had 2 pass deflections and 2 quarterback hits. Jalix Hunt had a TFL and 2 quarterback hits. Right? So, not a bad day. Not a bad day, not a bad day, not a bad day. And we'll see how this thing plays out, you guys. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And you guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.